FSLogix carries the profile, AppAttach carries the applications, but something still has to control the start menu, the taskbar, the language settings, and every other setting that shouldn't be permanently baked into the image or left entirely to chance. This lesson covers Group Policy versus Intune for session hosts, Citrix WEM and Omnissa DM as the category of dedicated user environment management tools, and the recurring decision of where a given setting actually belongs. Which policy mechanism you use depends entirely on how the session hosts are joined. AD-joined or hybrid intra-joined hosts can pull traditional group policy objects the same way any domain machine does. Intra-joined only hosts have no AD domain to pull GPOs from, so they're managed through Intune's settings catalog instead, which includes the same category of administrative template settings GPO has always used, plus the ability to import custom ADMX files you've already built. Whichever mechanism you use, scope it specifically to your host pool's device group rather than reusing a policy set built for regular end-user laptops. Session hosts are always on and shared, so laptop-oriented settings like aggressive power management simply don't apply. It's common to run GPO and Intune side by side during a transition, hybrid joined hosts on one, new intra-join only host pools on the other. Start menu layout and taskbar pins are part of the profile, so on a pooled host pool their persistence depends entirely on FSLogix working correctly. When a custom layout keeps resetting, check FSLogix first, then check whether a policy is reapplying a default layout every single login instead of just once as a starting point. And be explicit with stakeholders about whether they want a starting point users can personalize, or a fully locked layout. Those are different designs. Multi-region host pools need per-user language and regional settings, not a single image-wide default. The image typically ships one base language pack, and the user's display language, keyboard layout, and regional format apply at login and then persist through their FSLogix profile. For larger multi-language estates, build language packs into your image pipeline rather than installing them live on running hosts. Sitting alongside OS-level policy is a distinct product category, user environment management. Citrix WEM and Omnissa DM are the category-defining tools on their platforms, applying drive mappings, printer assignment, and shortcuts dynamically at logon, plus resource optimization features that go beyond plain policy processing. They complement profile containers and app delivery tools, they don't replace them. Most AVD native deployments rely on GPO or Intune plus FSLogix and don't add a separate UEM product on top. But knowing WEM and DM by name and function matters the moment you're assessing or migrating a Citrix or Omnissa estate, which almost certainly already has one of these deployed and configured. That's exactly the vocabulary Module 7's migration capstone will lean on. Every setting raises the same question. Static settings that apply identically to everyone belong in the image, they cost nothing at login and don't need a rebuild to update rarely. Settings that vary by user or group, or need to change frequently, belong in policy or a UEM tool applied at login, at the cost of some login time processing overhead. Get this balance wrong in either direction and you feel it operationally. Lean too heavily on the image and every small change becomes a full build test rollout cycle. Lean too heavily on login time policy and every sign-in slows down with processing that didn't need to happen live. The healthiest estates keep the image lean and genuinely universal, and push everything else to policy, FSLogix, or a UEM tool, reassessing that split as the environment evolves. Put the whole picture together, FSLogix carries the profile, AppAttach carries the applications, and GPO or Intune, with WEM or DM as the category equivalent on Citrix or Omnissa, carries the environment and policy layer around them. Next lesson we go deep on administering Windows 365 specifically, provisioning policies, network options, and the current state of boot, switch, and frontline.